Great! You've mastered your blood sugar. Now what? Follow these 3 steps and take your nutritional environment to the next level. You are a biological being, and as such, we know your environment matters. We learned that in episode 1, and it's been a reoccurring theme throughout all of these episodes, particularly in the last few episodes where we looked into blood sugar and began to realize the role that internal environment of blood sugar has on our overall energy levels and our ability to function in a thriving state. The next step to improving our overall environment quality, particularly when it comes to food, is the quality of those foods. All right, Hank, I know I need to bump up my nutritional density and get rid of this junk food and this processed food in my diet, but what does that mean exactly? Well, in short, your grandma was right. Eat more veggies. Green ones, blue ones, purple ones, yellow ones, red ones, it doesn't matter. Start to expand all of the different vegetables and varieties there are in your diet. Okay? But how do I make that practical? Well, I got 3 steps for you. So step 1 into making the theoretical practical is doing an inventory of where you're at. What are the 15 to 20 foods that really make your food environment? What are the things that you eat on really a daily basis? Because if you stop and think about it, and if you stop and do a diary or an inventory, what most people find is they're really only eating 15 to 20 different foods, or food type of categories, if you will, on a regular basis. So we want to begin with seeing where we're at and what foods that we might want to begin to pull out of our regular environment and begin to pull some foods in. That's the big picture. So step 1 is making that list. Step 2 is building on that list a little bit and seeing exactly where our shortcomings and fallings are with the foods that we're currently eating. So we do an inventory and say, well, how many calories per serving of what I eat of this particular food? How much protein, fat, carbohydrate, fiber am I getting from these foods? And is there any sort of nutritional highlights, a nice big bonus that this food may or may not be giving me? Now, with that list and an understanding of what we're getting and where we're getting it, we move on to step 3. And with step 3, we begin to look for better alternatives. So we go down, and we're not even looking to necessarily get rid of things, but we look at what are some superfoods, what are some nutritionally dense foods that I'm currently not eating that I can begin to experiment with and try to move into my regular diet. So here's a great place to start. As you can see, we're bringing in the Demi improvement cycle to improve our nutritional environment. How are we doing that? We're beginning with a plan to increase the nutritional density of the foods we eat on a regular basis. Then we're going to do, what's that doing? We make a list, we do the inventory, and most importantly, we start trying new nutritionally dense foods and seeing which ones we can incorporate into our diet on a regular basis. Then we check. How do we go about checking? It's simple. If 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, you sit down and do a list of the foods you're most commonly eating, There should be more new foods on there that are nutritionally dense than that old list that you started off with. And then you study and refine. That's it. And you continue that cycle until you get to where you want to be. All right, let's wrap this one up. And I know the question out there is, hey, but why? That's a whole lot of hard work. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to kid you. It's going to take some real persistence to get after it and stay after it. But you can do it. Why? Because you're a biological being. And we know that your environment matters. And you recognize that. And you're committed to creating an environment that's going to allow you to thrive. Now, I could tell you what 15 to 20 foods could or should work for you and say, just eat this and not eat that. But what fun would that be? How self-empowering would that be for you? How long would that last? We know the answer. And we want to break that cycle of islands of isolation. So to gain that freedom, it's going to take a little bit of personal responsibility, some self-education, and some time. But hey, let's enjoy this process. Let's enjoy this cycle of doing something, checking it, and then learning from it, and then continuing to refine that until we get to where we want to be. And in this case, it's real simple. It's only 15 to 20 foods. Your goal is simple. You'll know you arrived when you can make a list of 15 to 20 foods that you know are nutritionally dense, make you feel good, and create that thriving environment. Now, is it going to take you a week, a month, a year? It doesn't matter. The key part is stick with it and recognize you're doing it for you. And that in the long run, you know, by taking the time to create that daily thriving environment, you're going to be where you need and want to be.